Hi there, and welcome to my first episode of Crafting with Patti Bee. I'm Patti, and I have been an artist for as long as I can remember as a little child. Loved love it, still going, still creating. I create a lot of different things, use a lot of different mediums, and happy to be sharing some of this with you. So, a little about me. Let's see. I was a Montessori teacher, preschool teacher, and brought art into the classroom. We had to design and make a lot of our own materials, so that was fun. I've been a parent for a long time, and I've always been involved in with children and teaching, and I enjoy it. So I'm hoping you'll come along and enjoy this along with me. Um, I have an art group here, and I run a club, and we have 82 members um, on our emailing list, and I facilitate running an art show once a year, and all the artists donate to the table that we call the donation table. And each year we pick a local charity that we people can pick something from the table, donate any amount that they want, and we then donate that money to the various charities. Last year we donated to a place called The Haven, which helps women's of battered women and people trying to get on their feet again and who need a lot of help. We raised over $800 to donate. The year before that, we supported a group called the Sozo Kids, and that's a group of kids in the disadvantaged kids who live in the forest, who they provide after school activities, summer activities. They help train them for jobs. And so that's they have an art class that they do. So we donated to that, and that was over $800. So that's been pretty cool. This year, in 2023, we're going to be working with a local pet shelter that had its premises burned down. Dogs were okay, cats were okay, but needed to rebuild. So we're hoping to be able to be a part of that. The art club meets once a week in a local recreation center, and our goal is to be an inclusive, supportive, and inspiring club. So we're not quiet. We like to chat. We like to laugh. We feel like that's important. So anyone who's looking for a quiet space to do, studio work, needs to find somewhere else because we just can't be that quiet, which is great. This year, a lot of people have offered to demonstrate their particular activity, skill, art projects that they're into. So that's been really fun. Tomorrow it's going to be composition. We all need to bring our phones or our tablets. So that sounds like fun. We're going to be doing colored pencils and all, just a lot of different forms of art. What I do lately, well, I used to do, I still do, I guess, acrylics. I tried working in watercolor, and that was okay. It was okay, but I really found, I think that I like acrylics best. And I ended up with all these paintings, and a lot of them were from classes that I attended. So they weren't even, my work. They didn't come from my imagination. So that got a little tedious because, what am I going to do with them? Anyway, sometimes I would paint over them. recycle. It's good thing to do. Um, so kind of went from doing books like this. Okay, I'm dyslexic. You're going to have to help, be patient with me. And I found these pillow covers. So I mix a fabric medium with my acrylic paints, and I paint on the pillows instead of on canvases. And then I sell these. Um, I do all kinds. I get my inspiration from uh, coloring books. You can get nice outlines from coloring books. Kids coloring books, adult coloring books, not too much detail. This was from a coloring book that was done by an artist who was in a museum. That came out pretty good. Actually, you know what? I was selling these at a show. I do that craft show once a year or art show. And people didn't realize that they weren't printed on. That I painted them. I'm not sure what to do about that. We'll see. So, but mainly what I work with is cards. And this is one I just kind of threw together. This is a piece of tissue paper from Tim Holtz's collection. And then I just add ribbons and doodahs and um, using those same materials. I did this one. So you can see, well, let's go this way. You can see the versatility that you can get out of any medium. Um, some of the cards that I do, this is how I present them in these boxes. This is my Christmas stash. So this, I don't know if you can see that with the glare. There we go. So this was a gift tag, and I just turned it into a card. And then I ran out of gift tags, so I started making my own. I just cut a circle, made a top, used an embellishment. I cannot make two of the same cards. I've tried. It doesn't work. I can take the same papers, but I can't do a lot of the same. There's no, I'm too creative. So I need to, explore the same mediums in different ways. So then I started watching I've always watched YouTube videos on crafting and stuff. And you take what you can use and you leave the rest. And that's kind of what I want from this show is take what you need. If it resonates with you and it helps, go for it. And hopefully it inspires. So I started making these little books. And these are little photo albums, quite little. You put them up to me, you can see how little they are. And I went to Walgreens. I think you can go to just about any place that does photos, and they have a 4x6 photo that you can get a collage on. So you can get 3 or 4 pictures on that collage that'll fit in this little tiny book. And it has pages that flip out and you can put them in, and they were pretty easy to mail. So I made 27 of these. I started out making for grandchildren, and then I thought, well, my mom's gone. She was a crafter. I'll make them for all the grandchildren. Well, by the time I got done, it was 27 grandkids. And I had gotten their parents to send me photos. So they were filled with a lot of photos of themselves. And I also made them for my kids. And they were a big success because they were all about them. And then in the last page, I snuck in a picture of me next to a Christmas tree, just in case they forgot. So then, and maybe I'll just take this out. I started making books, and then I made coordinating cards. So I was selling these little sets together, and they're the same as the other ones. You know, they're not too big. So they're not really big to store. This could, you know, go in a pocketbook easy, sit on a shelf, you know, whatever. So after that, I graduated. And I made this. This is an interactive album. I can get it open. Here we go. So this is an interactive album that I made. And I bought a package of papers that coordinated. That makes life a lot easier. I used to sew and I loved fabrics, but so this is kind of like that. And each page has an interactive component to it. This has a magnet that closes it. I'm doing this backwards, so this one comes up. So you have room for photos. You can journal. It has an inset that can go in and out that you can put pictures on. This one has a tag that can go in here. You can write on the back, or you can, you know, use your own and put a photo in there. This one opens up. This one opens up. Again, places for photos go inside. Another tag space. And I embellish with laces and trims where I can. I like to do that on my cards too. And then this one opens up. And here's the, over here. There we go. And this one pulls down. And that's called a waterfall. And that has all pictures, places for pictures when writing. And then in the end, we have more tuck spaces. You can put cards, you know, you can put whatever you want. And then the final page has a tuck space and more room for pictures. The back is decorated, and oops, this side is decorated. You won't find perfect on this channel, I'll tell you that, because I'm not perfect. But I will say this, a lot of my best work comes from my mistakes, you know, because you try to correct them and they come out pretty good. So I'm not going to go through this whole album, but this is kind of the same thing, a little bit different. Instead of a tie, it's got a clasp, and you know, this one is made for a baby boy, and it has a lot of different interactive pages that you can kind of like a baby album. And then, of course, I had to make a card to match. So that makes a pretty good gift set. And I'll be making some of these to sell. Eventually, we'll get to be making these, I hope, together. It'll take a while. I I bring my stuff to, I have a group of friends, really good friends that keep me grounded and motivated. And they come to my house once a week, and we've been working on cards, Christmas cards. But I show them what I'm working on, and then they want to do it. So I showed them, this one, which was my first one, and they all wanted to do it. And I thought, okay, we can do it at the Art Buddies Club on Saturdays. And I thought, oh, 1 or 2 sessions, right? No, took us 3 months. 3 months. We had a good time, but it took a lot longer. So I thought what I would do is work us up to that, by showing you how I make a card. We can start off simple, and we can build. Oh, I got to show you this. Okay, so this is another new one of mine. I just started these, and oops, still got it. So this is kind of on the same thing as the scrapbooks. But not quite as the same, because it's more of a journal. So you've got papers, tea-dried papers. Boy, I really have to move. That I have put inside and sewn to the middle. So this becomes kind of an art journal. You could paste things in. And this is made out of 4 envelopes. So I can show that for sure. Oh, I used to do pencil, but I have a little arthritis in my wrist. So I can't really do it as much as I used to, but this is one I did of my brother's dog, Muggsy. He passed away. And I think, whoops, I think it kind of captured him. I wish I could get this glare figured out. There we go. So that's Muggs. And then this was just a cute picture I saw that I had to copy. That's some of my pencil works. I don't do commission work, because too much stress, too much pressure. What if it doesn't come out right? What if it doesn't look like the dog? So they didn't know I was doing these. And that way, if it came out good, I could send it to them and they'd be surprised. I have a friend who lives in Vermont, and he was restoring a really big, intricate Victorian house. And I came across a drawing or a picture of the house. And I said, oh, so I drew it, and it, was pretty detailed and everything. And it came out great. I said, oh, good. So I had it matted and framed, and I sent it to him. And he loved it, but he says, Pat, that's not my house. What? He says, now this is a house that's a couple of blocks away from me. It's kind of the same, but it's a little different. He kept it. Okay, so a couple of years later, he's working on a car, an antique car, and he sends me a picture of the car. Okay, so I decide I'll make up for the Victorian house one, and I'll send him one of his car, which, before he restores it. So I think I did that one in watercolor. I did. And we did that in watercolor, and it came out really good. Got rid of the background. It just kind of showcased the car. In what, he could see where it was. The background was, at his house. But anyway, so I sent it to him. Oh, he loved it. He says, but Pat, that's my parts car for the car I'm restoring. It's not the car. Okie dokie. At least I'm consistent. So he promises me he will send me a picture of the car when it's done. And who knows? Maybe I'll go 3 for 3 and still not get it right. But the thought was there. Um, and I enjoyed making it, and I enjoyed sending it. And I give a lot of my stuff away. I like to do that. I also like to share how I work with other people. And it amazes me how different the same things, like these 2 cards. This is me. This is my stuff. I could put these same materials out for my friends, and they would come up with something entirely different and just as good, maybe better. I used to find that was true working with preschoolers. I'd put out a work, and boy, if they didn't improve on it, that's good. I'll go with that. So anyway, I think that's what I have to show you. I thought maybe I would talk about some of the tools I use in case you want to, start doing this yourself. I've gone to a lot of YouTube channels and tried out a lot of different things that other people like, and I've come to the conclusion that these are the best for me. You may find others that you like better, but I have brought these to the both with the girls that come to my house and to the art group that I facilitate and have demonstrated and done projects with. So paper cutters. This is, I love this one. I have a guillotine, it's a big guillotine, and I think it's like 18 inches. And I can use that for cardboards and for doing multiple layers. But this one is so accurate because you can see right through where exactly the blade is going to go. And this opens up. And so you can use a 12 by 12 paper on it. You can get these at any craft store. Fisker's is pretty much everywhere. Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby. Online, I use Amazon a lot to get materials. And then you get replacement blades as these wear out. One of the tricks that I've learned about this blade is if you go down and you go up, the blade will last longer because you're using both sides of the blade. So that's a little trick. The other things are adhesives. And I have found this, and this is called glitter glue, art glitter glue. I get it online. I have a bigger bottle that I refill this bottle with, and you have to buy this little tip separate, and it comes with a pin. It's a special pin that does not corrode. It won't rust, so you can't use your regular pins. And I just tied a piece of ribbon and a little charm on it so that I can find it when I take it out. One of my friends has glued a magnet to the side, and she just holds hers on the side. This works on everything. This works on the magnets. It works on paper. It works on cardboard. You don't need a lot, so it doesn't saturate the paper. So yes, me and this glue, we're so happy together. You have to be careful when you order this. Some places will not send it to you during the winter because if it freezes, it loses its properties and it won't work. So once it dries, it's fine. And it dries quick. It dries very quick. The other godsend I found was this. And this is double-sided tape. And this is called, it's Susweg. It's on Amazon. And I get a particular size with this. I get the 3/8, which I think is listed as .375. They sell it in 1/2 inch. They sell it bigger and 1/4 inch. But this size is my favorite because most of the times when I'm putting it on, I'm using a 1/2 inch fold. And this is just shy, I think, just shy of 1/8 of an inch shy of a 1/2 an inch. So it gives you some room. You don't have to have it exact because you really don't want to get your tape or your adhesive on the crease line. You want it to just be on the other side of that and not stick out. So the other thing about this tape that I found is this little trick I'll show you. Okay. So I have another scrap piece of paper. I have this little piece of gold paper, and I'm gonna put this on the back, and I'm gonna press it. This is called a bone folder, and we use this for creasing. And you want to press down on your tape to get the air out. The air will cause your tape to dry out over time. So here's the trick, because I can't get it off. There we go. Once you put this in place, there's no turning back. You have to get it precise. So what I learned from other people, crafters, I didn't invent this, but is to just put the side out. So then I can figure out where I want this. So let's say I want this like in the middle. And I get it exactly where I want it. And then I press it where the tape is exposed and pull down. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Anyway, oh, that's not straight. I was doing it from the back. I tell you, not going to be perfect. So yeah, the other adhesives I use are, I use fabric glue for my ribbons. The art glitter glue works too, but you have to use a lot of it. So this has been my old standby for heavier fabric things like bows, because that keeps it on. And then this is just, and if you don't know about E6000, this is just a really good household adhesive. This will glue just about anything as well. Another piece of equipment we found invaluable is a scoreboard. And this is a Martha Stewart, but they have all kinds you can find. And if you see along the top, you have, it's a ruler from 1 to 12, I believe, and then down the side. So what you do with this, see if I can do this backwards. You take your bone folder and say, I'm going to turn it this way. And so here's a 1/2 inch, right? So I put this in at a 1/2 inch and I go down. Don't press too hard. You might go through the paper. But you can do it a couple of times, and you'll get a very straight edge. And then you can fold it back. Perfectly straight. You can't make one of these books without it. You just can't. And so here again, I'll show you what I mean about the tape. There's a little crease down here. I don't know if you can see it. Take my word for it. It's in there. If I want to put the tape over here, I'll go towards the outer edge. And it's just off that crease, right? So then I don't need to do the trick because it's already folded and straight. It's not going to go anywhere. And there you have it. That ain't coming off. Yeah. Fun, 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 fun.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see the comments, but
No.
you have Elaine and Mary Ruse watching and saying hi, and there's a lot of comments. Everyone's loving it.
Oh, my friends. Hi. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming.
And yeah, Mary said she wants to come visit you at your house and do some crafting, I think.
I can't wait till she gets back.
Yeah, you'll have to go
We
back.
miss you, Mary. We miss you. Thanks, Sam. I really can't read them. I will check all the comments later, and I will respond, and I appreciate the feedback for sure. Yeah, try to keep it positive. I could be sensitive. Okay, so some of the other supplies that I use. I get my cards with the envelopes. This is a package from Michael's. They often have sales, buy one, get one at 50% off. So I stock up when they do. And this has 50 sets of cards. You can make your own, especially if you have a scoreboard like I just showed you. But then you need to get envelopes. And if you have a supply of envelopes that don't cost a lot, that's fine. You can make smaller cards. I tend to make the bigger cards because it's just as much work to make the big cards as it is the small cards. And people feel like they're getting more for their money. I sell my cards for $5 or $5 a piece or 5 for 20. I love selling and doing shows because people are wonderful. And I get to chat with them, and yeah, it's just a very positive experience for me. So it's not really about the money. You really don't make enough to live off of, but you can, afford to resupply, buy supplies. Actually, I go to Michael's and my kids will call me. One of my kids will call me and they'll say, "What are you doing?" And I'll say, "Oh, I'm out and about." And then I'll hear, "Are you at Michael's?" Maybe. And they say, "Mom," and I say, "Could be worse. I could be on lottery lines. I could be a gambler. I could be running the slots." Just saying. Some people like jewelry. I like I like art supplies. Always have. Anyway. Okay, so let's see. Here's a book of scrap paper that I got from Michael's recently. They were having a big sale. So I got this for $5. And it has just beautiful, beautiful papers that are all kind of coordinating. And then, so two things about buying papers. You will find that there is papers that are cardstock. So these are thicker. These are thicker papers. I don't know if you can hear that, but they're kind of thick. And then there are papers that are really just paper. So this, much thinner. It's like regular copy paper. Sometimes they tell you how thick it is, but this one doesn't. I recently found only could get it online. I can't get it in Staples or even Home Office Depot. I haven't found it anywhere but online. Is 32-pound paper, regular computer paper, but it's 32-pound. And I find that just works really, really well for me. This is made out of that. This went through a dye machine. I have a dye machine. I think it's a Sizzix. And you buy the dyes, for those of you who don't know, and you get the pad. It'll press it. It's a metal die, and it'll press through the paper, and then it cuts it out for you. The dyes are a little bit expensive, but I get a lot of use out of it. I bought two different die cutting machines, and the one is very big and it's electric. And I thought, that would probably be my best bet. But in reality, the Sizzix, I think it's a 6-inch wide opening, and it has a crank, is the one I go to mostly. Yeah, and some of my friends have just gotten into it and like it a lot too. So we have fun with that, and it's just real creative. We're sharing dyes, getting different ones, and there are some basic dyes that you want to have, ovals and circles, squares. They come in, graduating steps, sizes. So you can pretty much get any size that you need. When I sell my cards, I go to clearbags.com. And clearbags.com, I think, is located in California. They are a really good resource for not only these card envelopes, the cellophane card envelopes, but the backings. I believe I got the backing for this, the matting and the from them. They sell kits, and they come in all different sizes. They sell packaging for cookies, for they'll even do custom.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. You have a lot of followers and a lot of crafters that are enjoying this right now. There's no way you can read the comments. And I had a crafting question. I wanted to know, like, when you get together with your friends, do they bring their own supplies and you guys kind of share, or do everyone just use your supplies at your house?
Well, both, because I have a whole room of supplies. I kept trying to clean it out, and I finally decided I just needed to put a label on the door to that room that says the closet.
You actually have a viewer on YouTube. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
from Florida. Yeah, you have. There's a lot of crafters out there. Apparently, that are enjoying the show.
Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful. Welcome. Thank you. So good to have you here. I love people. People are the best. You only hear about crankiness, it seems, but I 99.9% of the people that I come around are not cranky. They're really kind of fun. A lot of fun. So I enjoy them. I enjoy children too, um, and old people, of which now I'm one. I've arrived. I have arrived. Remember, remember when I was playing I Spy with the kids, with your kids, my grandchildren, my gorgeous, gorgeous grandchildren, and Coralie, I think, said, "I spy something gray," and I'm looking all over the house, and I didn't get it. It was my hair. What? When did this happen? And who was going to tell me? Uh, yeah, my grandkids keep me grounded. That's for sure. Um, Coralie, I told her that play was work. You know, that children's play is really work, and she wasn't. She says, "No, Grandma's being funny again." Is what she says. She
Yeah.
doesn't believe me.
Is there any way you can't see the comments if you swipe to the left? Are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone. If I swipe,
I think there's a lot of people. There might be people that you're friends with in your art group. Oh no, we lost her. Come back. Uh-oh, the swiping didn't work, I guess. Mm. Okay, well, we'll see if she comes back. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is the first show, and we'll get it all dialed in. I'm hoping she'll come back in. Um, oh, here she comes. Okay, here she is.
sorry. You said to the left. Yeah, that didn't work. So,
We'll
like
figure
I
it out.
said, not perfect.
We'll
Nor should
figure it
we
out.
be. Nor should we be. I mean, art is everybody wants to be perfect at their art. They want it to come out the way they envision it. And a lot of times that evades us. It comes out differently. And really what I say is, it's only, canvas and paint or paper. It's not brain surgery. And, thank God I'm not a brain surgeon. You're welcome. Um, yeah, just, go with it. And art, especially when you're painting, it gets to a stage where it really doesn't look good because you're building layers and stuff. And kind of the same thing, with my cards. I use a lot of that. I watched a lot of decorating shows, and I applied that to my card making. So yeah. Ugh. Okay. So here's a card base. And this is 5 by 6.5, I believe. So what I do is I cut I pick out papers that I like that are going to match. I could do that. I could do one of these. I could do this. I could do this. Depends. So anyway, I had picked this one out. And so I found in those two books that I just showed you, the cardstock one and the coordinating cardstock one, and then the other one. And cut this one 1/4 of an inch shorter than the width and 1/4 of an inch shorter than the length of the card. And what that does is it gives you 1/8 of an inch. Wait a minute. Oh, boy, being dyslexic and doing this in reverse. Fun. all the way around. So then I go in increments of either a quarter of an inch, which gives you an eighth of an inch border, or I could do a half of an inch, which will give you a quarter of an inch border. And so depending on how much I want to show, you know, of this background, and I don't know if you can see the increments. So this is just a basic rectangle increment. And I'm going to show you how I would put this together. Okay. My friend. So I'm just going to draw a line all the way around the edges with my glue. And then when I center it, I look at the top corner and glue. Glue gives you a little wiggle room before you, once you press it down, not really, but you know, so yeah, I could take my bone folder and, you know, just swipe it. You could use a credit card, a cake spatula, whatever. So if you're working with foil, you can see through it. So I have two choices. It'll show the lines where the glue is what I'm saying on the front side. So I have two choices. I know I'm going to put this on top of it, right? So I can just put the glue a quarter of an inch inside and that'll hold it. Or I could use my tape. I'm going to use my glue. And so I'm just going to put it a quarter of an inch away from the edges, scribble it into the middle, and I'm going to center that. And press it. And I don't know if you can see the lines of glue starting to come through, but there you have it. So now I could glue on top of this, but because it's shiny, I'm going to use my tape. Oh, I get out my quarter-inch tape. And I'm going to put that down onto the edges. Press it down. This is a pick. I don't know if you can see that. I got this from the dollar store. Maybe if I put it up against my shirt. Can you see it? Anyway, it's good for removing the tape. But remember, I'm only going to do it part way. I'm going to need to remove the other one too, so I have to move that one down part way. Okay, so got my little wings. Now I am going to get this where I want it and then press it down where this is going to stick. And now I can just pull this down. So there we go. I've got 3 layers. You can use white paper for a layer. You can use black paper for a layer. You can find papers everywhere. You know, sometimes I use envelopes, if I get a pretty envelope or wrapping paper. Yeah. um, that can all be used. And so I'm going to put a die cut in the middle of this. I'm going to put some glue on. And I'm going to center this. Okay, so that's centered. And you can see how quick that glue holds.
Lorraine O'Leary has a question for you.
Oh, okay. What is it?
She wants to know if did you always love crafting?
Yes, I did. I always had, I don't know if you guys remember this, but they used to sell Venus Paradise drawing sets, and they were all different colored, very soft leaded pencils. And it was kind of like a paint by number, only it was these colored pencils. Today, you can get Prismacolor pencils, have a soft lead, DeWitt, um, and I'm trying to think of who else. There's a couple of companies out there that have them. Now they're expensive. They're like, $1.20. It might have even gone up a pencil, but they last a long time and they're really easy to color with. So yeah, and I remember when I was a kid, I had gotten a box of 64 colored crayons. Oh, had a little sharpener in the back. We had a contest at school. I think I was probably in the second grade. Maybe I was in the third grade. And so we were asked to draw, something, I guess it was around town or something, and put it into the arch for the art show. And I did a cemetery and used every color in that box for every single, all the different tombstones. We had a couple of cemeteries quite near our school that were pretty old, and we used to love to go and look at the epitaphs because they put epitaphs there. And there was one by our school that was so old, it's not even there anymore. It was in front of the courthouse. Anyway, and we would go there, and they were all young children that were buried there, and we were mesmerized. So anyway, I thought it would be a great idea to use all my 64 colors, and I did the cemetery, and it was beautiful. And they said they wouldn't put it in the art show because it wasn't realistic. That's not how cemeteries look. And I was crushed. I was so crushed. I still am crushed. What? Anyway, my mother made me feel better when she found out. She said, well, I think all cemeteries should be colorful. They'd be much more interesting to visit. Oh, that made me feel a little bit better. Not enough to erase the memory, but okay. So be really careful when you criticize kids' art. You just never know. But yeah, I've always made something for the Christmas tree. Um, I remember making doll clothes out of tissues for my Barbie doll. And I learned to sew Barbie clothes on the machine. My mother had a sewing machine. And yeah, how tiny those are. I had tiny fingers. Um, yeah, she let me use the sewing machine. What's the worst that can happen? I sew my fingers? Not a problem. Anyway, I think I see one. Wait. Oh, thank you, Madeline. Thank you. Yeah, right. I mean, yeah. The thing is that art is on a section of the brain. Your math and your language are on one side of your brain, and your art is on another side of the brain. So one of the exercises that I learned to do was not to name things as I drew them. And so you can turn something upside down and copy just the lines. Just look at the line, the negative space compared to the positive space where your line is going or the dark is going. And when you get done, you turn it around and there it is. And that I did one that was a Picasso. Came out great. So yeah, so you need to get out of that brain that criticizes, your work. And that's where, pull the language out. That's why artists will say to you, or any kind of time when you doing something and then time has just passed and you have no idea it went that fast. You could be there for hours and it felt like a half hour, because time doesn't exist on that side of the brain either. So it's really kind of taking a vacation when you do art. Yeah.
We're at the hour mark.
Okay.
Do you want to wrap it up and tell everybody what we're gonna have, what they can look forward to on the next show in February?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have two little guests, some youngsters, and we're gonna do some kind of a project, probably a Valentine's project or something like that. So you can, follow along. I'll probably list it on the web on the site, Crafting with Patti Bee site, the materials, and yeah, come join us, hang out. Um, and thank you so much for joining me on my first show. This is fun. I won't talk as much.
You got the bug. You got bit by the going live bug.
I go live in person a lot, so I just figured, I pretend that I'm talking to my art group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, once you start teaching, it never leaves you. You just, it
Yeah.
started with my siblings. I was the oldest of six, so I was always teaching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're a teacher at heart. You're
I
always
am.
going to be a teacher.
I am. Yeah. It,
Well, we might have some children on some of the future episodes where we can bring some kids on to do some crafts with you, and so
okay.
we'll figure that out. But
Okay. I'll
yeah,
be doing. I'll be talking about, ribbons and some of my other supplies and how to make bows for them, and just some of my tricks that I've learned along the way. And hopefully you'll be inspired to try some things. We'll see where it goes. You know, it's ever revolving. Ever, yeah. You get creativity from everywhere. I find inspiration everywhere too. All right.
Maddie wants to craft with you. You're gonna have to go back and read everyone's comments. There's some really
I
amazing
will.
comments.
I absolutely will. Thank
Maddie
you.
makes cards too,
Oh, great. Great.
and she does drawings.
I'd like to see some of that. Yeah. Um, yeah, I have a lot of friends that make cards that are so different than mine. Um, so I love that. I love it. Yeah. All right.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you
Thank you all
everybody. And please leave comments. I will read them and get back to you. And I'm looking forward to the next episode. Yeah, thanks.
for-